that?
No, I'm good. Excellent. Well, I was kind of confused of why Brian didn't come sit with me in that little chair. What's the deal, dude? Or he could come sit on my lap. If you don't mind, I'm going to walk around with this. Well, I appreciate you guys coming and listening. You know, when you started talking about goals and vision, Brian, I was almost going to have to change everything up. But I want to elaborate a little bit more on that. You know, one of the things I really want you guys to benefit, not only the kids here, but the adults, and this is something that I want to talk to you about, that hopefully, if there's just one of you that walks out of here with maybe a light bulb that goes off, some kind of switch that says, wow, what he said made sense, that's all that matters. I don't want it to be the kind of thing where you guys come here and you get a couple awards and you look at this, it's all great, and then you don't walk out with anything. I really want you, hopefully, to get something out of this. So, I really need you to pay attention and try to, when I'm talking about this, relate to yourself. Okay, whether that's you're a freshman going off to college, senior, whatever it may be, or you're an adult here with your child. But one of the things that he talked about was goal setting, that vision. Okay, now when I talk about vision, you could just swipe it out with goal setting. And somebody needs to tell me when it's 10 minutes, because I only got 10 minutes and I can go on forever. I was kind of joking, I could talk about this for an hour, 2 hours. But one of the things I really want you guys to understand, a great quote by Zig Ziglar is, how can a man hit a target he does not have? How can a man hit a target he cannot see? Right? So what we do, guys, is we go through life. Brian made it very clear that he had goals. He had a vision of what he wanted to do. But let me ask you a question. I want everybody to raise your hand, because I know you've been sitting there and kind of I see a lot of these going on. Everybody I didn't mean to pick on you. But how many of you have goals? How many of you actually have goals and you have them somewhere where you see them every single day? Okay, good. Good. Not too many people do that. Not too many people have goals where they see them every single day. And it's so important that you guys understand that. You know, when you set goals and when you have a vision for your life, it's like a beacon that keeps you heading down the right path. Or another way, Jim Rohn used to talk about it, was the set of your sail. Do you guys all agree that we have challenges in life? We all have challenges. And what happens is there are certain things that hit all of us. We all have choices we got to make. We all have struggles. You guys have peer pressure. As in high school, you have peer pressure as adults. But the thing is, if you have a strong course of who you want to become and what you're trying to achieve, it'll keep you on course. But if you just kind of go through the day and you have no vision, you have no goal, and you don't know who you're trying to become as a person, I've heard it put this way, you're like a cup, like a styrofoam cup in a parking lot. And the wind's blowing and that thing's just swirling around. You have no idea, you have no direction. So you guys really have to understand, one of the things that helped me so much, and I was a college athlete. How many actually know what I played in college? And this is actually, if I know what? I played tennis. So, but it was interesting. I know my kids kind of joke with me about that. But my college coach always used to talk about the goals. He'd say, hey, goal set, we're going to do this and that. We always kind of blew them off. We put it in the sock drawer, put it away. We never really paid attention too much. What happens is probably about 10 years ago, I had no real direction in my life. I had some pretty interesting jobs. I went to a seminar and somebody told me that if you want to have more, that you have to become more. He used that quote. If you want to have more, you have to become more as a person. And I started to realize that what my coach told me in college about goal setting, that you know what, that can carry over into life. And we all have key areas in our life, guys. We all have that. You going off to college, you have relationships, how you are as a person, and how you treat other people. You can have a strong vision in your life of how you want to be and how you want to act to others. Okay, when you go off to college, there's a certain GPA you have to maintain, right? You can set a goal. You can have a vision of what type of student you're going to become. Okay? You can have a vision if you're going to go play athletics, what kind of college athlete you're going to be and what you're going to do to achieve that. Adults, you can have, I'll talk to the adults a little bit, you can have a vision of how you want to be as a husband. You can have a vision of how you want to be as a wife. You can have a vision of how you want to be as a parent. Okay? You can have all these things, but the thing is, too many of us go through life and we think, well, goal setting and that vision stuff, that's not for me. And then what happens is we end up not too happy. Okay? A lot of times happiness comes not from the things that we get, but who we become. Right? So if we're not living up to our full potential and we're not doing the things that we know we should be doing, we don't feel too good about it right here in our heart. So what you do is when you have a clear vision, it increases your happiness because you know what you're trying to be as a person, what you're trying to achieve. It gives you hope. Instead of living out of the victim mindset of like, oh, I just don't know what to do, now you have power because there's power in hope. You know what you're trying to achieve. You know what you're trying to get done. Okay? Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Because I think there's too much of a victim mentality. There's too much of, blame. And when we truly start to grow up as individuals, that's when we start to take responsibility for ourselves. I've said this before. It's okay to kick and scream when you're 3, okay, but not when you're 33. But there's a lot of people, and there's a lot of kids, speaking to the high school kids, that still blame, and they take the victim role. It's not my fault. It's his fault. It's the parents or this and that. So the encouragement of this is understand if you want things to improve, you want things to get better, then you can get better, right? Another good thing, because a lot of times people always talk about money, right? They talk about money. Well, I just want to go to college. I want to get a good job. Or sometimes we look at if somebody makes a lot of money, then we think he's successful. Okay? Well, a couple things with that. Income, the amount of money you make, seldom exceeds personal growth. And that's what I want to talk about right here. Does that make sense? So you young guys and girls, when you go to college, okay, what's going to make you the most successful is not necessarily what you learn in college, but what you do after college. How you continue to personally develop. They say if you were to win $1 million, you better become a millionaire very, very quick. Because what will happen is if you don't know how to handle that, and you haven't become that person that can handle that, what happens? It goes away like that. We see that all the time, right? So what I'm saying is, in regards to this, number one is make sure you have your vision. Make sure you have your goals. You have important areas of your life. Get them written down of who you want to be. Who do you want to be as an individual? Write them down. One of the things that I do, it's so incredibly boring, but it keeps me on track. I write my goals down every single day. Every day. And I know it sounds incredibly boring, and I don't do everything right. I mess up a lot, and that's a lot of the reason why I have to write my goals down every day. And I'll share them with you just real quick. How am I doing on time? I'm good? Okay. Brian said I guess, so I'm going to go with what Brian says. He says I'm good. Number one for me, I put down close to God. My relationship with God is number one. Okay? Then I want to be an amazing husband. Then I want to be an incredible parent. This is all that I write down every day. And then there's a certain income, I won't tell you what it is, that I want to make in my business. Okay? Then there's something I want to do in my other business. And then the other one is exercise. I want to be super fit. So what I do is I write that down every single day. Do you think that I get off course? I do get off course, but I don't get off course for too long. Does that make sense? See, a lot of us have these goals and we have these dreams in our head, right? We have these things. All of us want to maybe get better grades. All of us want to play college sports, or some of us. All of us want to graduate with a degree. All of us maybe want to have a better relationship. Okay? There's certain things we want to do. But if you haven't identified clearly that vision for that, and if you haven't identified the 1 to 3 things or 1 to 2 things that if you did them every single day would make the biggest difference, it's not going to happen. It just won't happen. You guys have to understand that because there's too many distractions and you're going to get off course. So my encouragement to you is really take this seriously. no matter if you're 14 years old or you're 44, whatever it may be, that things can change for you. Things can change for you. You just have to work on yourself and get better. That's what makes a difference. Okay? Some people have that victim mentality of, oh, well, if I just, they talk about jobs. If I just, I'll really turn it on. Jim Rohn talks about, I'll just turn it on if I get a new job. So they slacken their job. That's the worst thing you can do, right? The quickest way to success is to work hard and give your extra. Another thing that he talks about that I love, and I'm quoting so much Jim Rohn because he's just amazing, and it's not Jim Rome, the sports guy, it's R-O-H-M, which is another thing. If you ever go to YouTube, there's a wealth of information in YouTube that you guys can gain knowledge. But one of the things he talks about is success is not something you pursue. Success isn't something you pursue. Success is something you attract by becoming an attractive person, by becoming somebody that gives value. So you have to understand this always throughout your whole life. You can make a choice to get better. Don't be the victim. Don't play that mindset of, well, I just hope things get better. It's so important that you guys understand that. And a lot of that is find your vision, set the goals, okay, and continue to learn and to read and get better. One of the things that's so important to me is my library. And I know my kids, Liam's sitting over there, I know my kids, I have 4 kids. And one of the things that we do is we pay them to read books. I pay them to read books because that's what's important. Nothing against somebody that takes out the trash, nothing against that. But if I wanted them to be a trash man, I would pay them for that. But I want them to educate their mind, and I want them to learn and to grow. So one of the things that I would encourage you to do, the kids, the adults, whatever it may be, a little less time on the video games, okay? A little less time, adults, on watching the news, and more time of putting the remote control down and actually picking up a book and actually learning and growing. Because that's the thing that's going to make the biggest difference. There's no excuse to be whining and complaining about stuff, okay, when you're not making the effort to change. Okay, so just understand that. That's good. I think I'm good. Did that make sense? Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Did somebody get that a little bit? Anybody? Is okay? Okay. I really want you to understand that, guys, because look, life is extremely, extremely challenging. It's extremely challenging. I've had ups and downs in my marriage. We have ups and downs in our parenting. I'm an only child. I watched my mom die in my arms when I was 15. There's a lot of different stuff that happened in my life. I'm passionate about this because I really, really see a lot of pain and I see a lot of confusion. And people do not need to be confused, okay, as they are. I'm not saying things are easy, okay? Success is very, very, very hard. You have to have tremendous patience. You have to see it through. But what I am saying, success does not need to be complicated. And what we do is we act too complicated and we get confused. Don't need to be confused. Find your vision, set your goals, and continue to be a lifelong learner. Okay? Thanks, guys.